match coming
I believe there's one ongoing right now.
right now. Is it on the B stream or is it right now?
I think it's right now.
Okay, we have a match going on right now. I don't know if I'm
Alright.
even supposed to be here. I have like a gap in the middle of my schedule.
All right. We are going to now head off to Oklahoma versus Florida. We're going to hand it off to Dio and Chillier pair. Have a great rest of the night.
Them, they're here. They can.
We're here.
Yeah,
They're here.
Am I here?
Wow.
We're ready. We're ready to go. It's Oklahoma, Florida. We're already in the match. I don't know exactly how far we are into the match. Honestly, I have not been tracking the MP link from either the main sheet or ref sheet, but it's a loser's bracket match. It's Florida in a rebuilding year versus Oklahoma in a year where they have honestly a pretty solid team. Actually, it's still lights out this year as well, and they've had decent success so far, looking to now make it into the top 16 for both of these teams with a victory here. Both of them seeded 17th to 24th overall, so top 24 would be expected placement. One of them here will outdo their expected placement. Chillier, what's up, man? It's been a while.
Man, it has. It really has. And lucky for us, we are none maps in, so we get to see a fresh start for both of these teams. I think you sort of touched on all the good aspects of both sides here. Most notable for Oklahoma this year, of course, getting lights out back from Team Texas from last year, rejoining the home state like you do, and bringing this one in potentially for what I believe would be Oklahoma's furthest finish ever, if not very close to that. They have traditionally been a quarterfinals-esque losers bracket team, and to win this match and go on to the next round would be very, very nice for them. That would be quite the matchup, as they would advance to face off against the winner of Nevada versus Michigan in their second match. So big stuff on the line for Oklahoma. Florida staving off what would probably be one of their lowest finishes ever, if not the lowest we've ever seen from Florida, given their history in this tournament. So potentially a lot riding on this first point here. Florida with their first pick. It's Flesh God Apocalypse on the Fremont.
Yeah, Florida back in 2019 or 2020 was the third seed. Even then, they still made it to top 4. In 2019 was third overall, and this is going back before their win in 2021. 2018, they still made it into the top 3. In fact, were second to North California in 2018. And in 2017, this is now the very first year of the tournament. Florida still managed to make it all the way into top 8, just barely avoiding a top 6 finish, losing 5-1 to New Jersey in losers round 4. So if Florida lose this match, this would be the state's worst finish in all 8 years. Actually, this would be the 9th year of USC. So if Florida lose this match, this is their worst finish in 9 years of United States Cup. No pressure for Team Florida. Obviously, this first pick not looking so great at the start, but there's a break from lights out, and now suddenly the full combos are evened up. Izumi and Aizen holding strong for both these teams, but Zimby on the Hard Rock clutching up with some good supporting combo, and it's going to have to stay clutch as Izumi finds a break on the Nomad FC. Asian now left uncontested on the side of Oklahoma.
The Hard Rock is going to be the difficult mod on this map. These high velocity streams, big switches between the jumps, and slightly smaller circles at that. Not quite precision oriented, but we are still looking smaller with the Hard Rock, and that leaves Asian with a little bit of an easier time, I say, as he finds the break on the Nomad. That is a misaim on the stream velocity there as Zimby holds through, and that might be the saving grace for Florida right now. 1,000 combo, easily matching Lights Out, who found an earlier break on the Hard Rock, and Zimby, the skill cap mod on the free mod, holding Florida up right now. This used to be a slot that we probably would have pinned as one of Florida's best. Zimby fully over-aiming that stream, though. I mean, that was 25 misses there alone, and look at that cursor shake right now. Does it hold into the ending? Only 6K in favor of Oklahoma.
It's not much, and there is no mod combo for Florida versus Hard Rock combo for Oklahoma right now. You maybe pin Lights Out as the guy to take that Hard Rock combo for Oklahoma and run with it, but at the same time, no mod combo is just generally a bit more consistent. Unfortunately, MC Conqueror finding a couple of chain misses here on the hidden, and now some uncontested supporting combo for Oklahoma as Zimby finds another break on a set of jumps there for Florida. And yes, it's matching combo for Izumi and Lights Out, but it's Referee and Asian left uncontested for Oklahoma as MC Conqueror and Zimby find another couple of misses on that 1/3 circle stream. Lights Out will break, but it's still the double supporting combo for Oklahoma, keeping them ahead here, keeping the nose out in front by about 90K.
It's a big score lead on that combo right now, and Lights Out, you know, lucky for Florida, missed. Honestly, I think every single jump in that pattern there does mistap a burst as well. So that combo lead is going to slowly go down further and further as Referee finds a break. Oklahoma, this is not the time to start falling apart. It's only 90K. You're not solidified yet. We have a little bit left in the map, and this is that combo density that I was looking for right here at the ending to maybe make something work for Florida. I do think Aizen does have this one into the ending for Oklahoma, especially with that double break from Florida, but Izumi making this one look pretty damn close into the ending as Oklahoma finds some unfortunate breaks, and that is a break point for Team Florida on map number 1 as the downfall starts early, Dio. Not amazing.
Want to see as a born and raised Floridian, man, what's going on, Florida? We gotta step up on the next pick. Unfortunate couple of breaks there near the end for MC Conqueror and Zimby, but even then I don't think Izumi's no mod combo would have been enough to hold out against that extra combo and extra team consistency really from Oklahoma on that map. And now we move into the first pick for Oklahoma. Gonna be U parts, but not Omega parts. U parts.
U parts.
A Tanaka and M Matsuda.
Completely different skill set overall. The precision map in the pool, the ultimate precision map in the pool, finally bringing some of those really small circles into Hard Rock. We actually have not seen a precision map in Hard Rock since the round of 31, Dio. It was a CS 6.1 on Yingguo for Hard Rock 1 in round of 32. Last week, the smallest circle size was 5.5, although we did get Synchronicity 1 at 7.7 without the Hard Rock, so it was AR9 throwing off the balance of things a little bit for the usual Precision squad. And then we're finally bringing it back this week with our smallest circle size map in the tournament yet at CS 7.8. Still AR 9.8, so not quite up to the 10 with that Hard Rock, but again, consistency, the name of the game here, 2 minutes and 34 seconds of total drain time, which I believe is actually the total, the drain time. So total length of the map, 315. And this is going to be Oklahoma trying to use that advantage they had. Lights Out maybe being a little bit more confident as that Hard Rock player on the precision. Bazinga's dead coming in for Oklahoma as well. A big switch up in addition for them. And Asian staying in on that third. Florida going to get some swaps in here. S-Dot and Uranium joining the party for the down south state as they try and fight their way back in potentially early. I do think a Hard Rock might not be a bad avenue for Florida.
This roster swap makes a lot of sense for Florida. You're not going to put in MC Conqueror and Izumi on something like this, especially Zimby is probably going to be in for basically everything, but S-Dot should be pretty solid on this, is having a bit of a rough time here at the start. And Oklahoma just overall a little more comfortable, especially on Lights Out and Aizen holding those two FCs. But the accuracy for Florida is keeping up aside from S-Dot. It's just a little bit of discomfort there on the top row, but a big, massive break, actually, 2 breaks for Bazinga's Dead and Azen Uranium trading on the side of Florida. And now it's just lights out with the FC versus Zimby on the recovery combo. It's still better for Florida, but the one FC now down for them on Uranium. And trying to claw this back with 0 FCs while lights out continues to full combo is a pretty tall task, especially now with that miss from Zimby. It's looking a little tough for Florida here, but there's still quite a lot of map left to go. We're only a third of the way in. The lead's not yet 100K, but Oklahoma looking good here in the first third of this pick.
The thing we got to keep in mind is that with the drain time of this combo for Lights Out is going to become extremely dangerous quickly. Look at that, 50K just on that pattern alone with the low intensity because of the note density being so spread out in this map. And these deceptively hard triples, these extra spaced flow aim patterns in here. This is definitely one of the more technically complex maps in the pool, especially for those players who would normally have the comfortable aim. It's a little bit old style. It's a little bit, it really drags in that precision. And with Zimby having the only combo standing on Florida still being below Bazinga's Dead after Lights Out put up that big front combo here. Actually, Bazinga's Dead on track to be the top score in the lobby to maintain this one. That's 300K in favor of Oklahoma, and with breaks basically across the board on all the big combos, it now falls on Zimby in the final third, and with that break, that's a quarter of the way left to go on the map. No accuracy to speak of on anyone but Bazinga's Dead right now. Lights Out maybe coming in a close second, and that 300K is now going to be at the shutdown point for Florida as Oklahoma takes their map 1.
At this point, with less than a quarter of the map left to go, yes, there's some extra combo on the side of Florida, but just not going to matter here. Not even close to being enough for the Floridians to take this back. Solid, just all-around plays from Lights Out on the combo department, but Bazinga's Dead, 97% accuracy, highest in the lobby by over 3% up over Lights Out there. So very, very good accuracy for Bazinga's Dead, and actually gives him the best score in the lobby by the end of the map here. So really solid play there from those 2 members of Oklahoma. Azen bringing up the rear, matching most of the scores there from Florida. And that's all you really need to do when you already have 2 people outperforming everyone else in the lobby.
This is just such a difficult map. It really tests absolutely everything that you want to see in a precision map. To the detriment of literally any player who does not play this skill set constantly. You can see the low accuracy, this like old style, so you really do need players who are very, very competent on this sort of thing. And, even like we saw in Illinois versus Connecticut right before this match, it's rare to get a team that can put up a really good score on this map, and seeing some teams come pretty close but not quite up to that 2 million range does give you such a good idea of how specialized some of these maps are going to be this weekend. And we haven't had a winner's bracket match yet in the tournament. I don't believe we're actually even going to get a winner's bracket match this evening. It will be tomorrow for both of them. But I'm interested to see how many teams are able to push above that 2 million score cap. We definitely had a couple of maps last week that were sort of similar in that range as well, with that Nomad 2 being at 7.7. It's such a polarizing skill set. So I think Oklahoma overall looking pretty good on the Hard Rock, good on Florida for banning out that Hard Rock 1 early. And they're going to now jump into the Hidden. It's going to be a location, switching it up here for Florida with the AR8.
And we haven't gotten a chance to talk about the bans too much with how we got into this match, with it already being underway, first pick having started up as we hopped into the call. But it's a double hidden ban for Oklahoma. So Florida, I think, taking note of the double hidden ban and saying, you know what? Okay, you sent us a signal. You left up potentially a bait map, but I feel like we should go for it being down 0-2, right? If you're down 0-2, your opponent's double banned hidden, probably a good idea to just try it out and see if that remaining hidden skill set is still something good for you, especially with it being low AR. You have a couple of other low AR picks in the pool, the Nomad 2 and Nomad 3 in particular. Now, Nomad 3 is obviously a little different, it's AR 5, but is still a lower approach rate map. And maybe some of the other more reading-focused picks in the pool could be good for you as well, if this one is. This Hidden 2, though, is a little weird. It's not a typical reading map. There's a lot of... I don't know if they're... I think they're 1/8 bursts in this map, if I was seeing them right in the last match. So 252 BPM bursts in this AR8 Hidden pick.
On the more unconventional side, absolutely. This is... I don't know how much of an avenue this one is in for Florida for the remainder of the match if they get it. I do think that there is some merit to being better at the AR8 Hidden, but it's almost funny in the current landscape of the game, and AR8 Hidden really doesn't mean much anymore, which I feel like it's almost accomplished what it did. It like created more of a desire to be better at reading in the tournament scene. So now AR8 has become just like, yep, I need to learn how to play AR8 to be good at tournaments at all. And now we're having to throw in maps like Nomad 3 that are really starting to test the reading of players. The perfect stack overlaps on, you know, AR5 with the big circles. So I do wonder where Florida goes after the Hidden 2 here, because there is not necessarily a map that perfectly translates to this skill set for the remainder of the pool, especially when looking at like Fremont as a comparably sized area for them. Oklahoma does have the opportunity to take this pick from them. I do have to say as well, having a player like Bazinga's Dead and Higio in here are quite nice for this skill set.
Well, a couple of early misses coming through from Uranium and Higeo to start things off. Referee, Bazinga's Dead, MC Conqueror, Zimby all still holding the FCs. Another slider break to come through for Uranium. Referee and MC Conqueror trading things out once again. And it's better combo for Higeo and for Bazinga's Dead on the side of Oklahoma. Just Zimby once again for Florida matching. But there goes Zimby as well. And just as the pick looked good based on the bans, it all falls apart real quick in the first third of the map for Florida. The accuracy on Uranium and MC Conqueror are both down about 4% from referee. Zimby matching the rest of the Oklahoma squad, but the combo is just not there for Florida. The AC is just not there for Florida on this pick. And Chillier, I mentioned something when we were discussing this pick for Florida, is that if you do double ban Hidden as a team, or double ban any mod for that matter, oftentimes the one that you've left up can be a bait. And this one might have been a bit of a bait here for Oklahoma, because they have some decent scores, and unfortunately Florida is just not able to string together a big combo anywhere on this map.
They might have done quite a bit of trolling here on the side of Oklahoma against Team Florida. This is not going well for them, to say the least. 500,000 score. This might be one of the biggest score gaps we see of this weekend. It's likely to extend to 800k if it continues on this round. I mean, Zimby, the only player who is able to match up close to anyone in Oklahoma, actually the highest accuracy in the lobby. And as the combos fall on Oklahoma, they will come up short of that 800k, but that 92% and sub 90 for Uranium for the other two Floridian players, not doing them any favors as we finish with almost across the board 500Ks for Oklahoma. Bazinga's Dead going to come up a little bit short, but it is going to end up with Higeo, the top score in the lobby. Quite impressive, 673K, only 3 misses. Accuracy, a little bit less than desirable, but this map is quite difficult to maintain that on, especially sitting at OD7 there. And that is a confident pick for Oklahoma by quite the margin. They already looked pretty good on that Hard Rock with a 300k score gap, and they effectively doubled that into the Hidden, which was Florida's pick, now giving them the opportunity for the 4-0. And my question at this point is, Dio, do they end up going in for the double time eventually? Do they just go lights out, go kill at some point in this match? Or is Florida too good at DT?
I think the problem with doing that is you do have lights out on Oklahoma, but you have Zimby on Florida to match that. And the rest of the roster for both of these teams is all pretty similar, I think, on the speed. It's all mostly 4 digits for both of these teams, with the sole exception of Bazinga's Dead. TSPMO also relatively high ranked compared to the rest of both of these teams. But it is going to be a DT pick. It's going to be Night Witches by Sabaton. Piroshki's Insane Diff. This one is, well, it's some speed. 288 BPM, AR 10.3 speed in the DT pool. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how it goes. No more talking about it because they do end up picking into the DT speed here.
I do like the speed pick from them. I think that this is perfect for Oklahoma. Florida, they do have good DTs. Like you were saying, they do have Zimby playing well today. They do have S-Dot on the roster. They have speed available to them, but Lights Out being one of the highest skill cap players in the lobby, especially with this being sort of his number one skill set, these like speedier maps, alongside Bazinga's Dead, who also does tend to trend towards the speed side of things on DT maps when they do, leaves a lot of room here in ground that Florida may need to make up when going into a pick like this. So I'm thinking that Oklahoma is going to have quite a nice time on this pick as they roll their way through. I guess my question is, how is that third going to look on both of these teams? It looks like it's going to be Izumi in for Florida on that third there. So maybe more of that Hard Rock Stream player coming in, you know, hoping that the mechanics-oriented player is going to be a good third on the DT. And, you know, a lot of the times that does work out, so I'm hoping for Florida that Izumi does end up being that player they need. And that
it's
third...
the three highest-ranked players on Florida.
Yeah, I guess that makes
high rank
sense.
for DT, usually pretty good.
Yeah, and the Bull Run referee is that third for Oklahoma, which is kind of the same thing as running Izumi in my mind, that sort of like streamier mechanic style player in for Oklahoma, hoping that they give them that good third to just put up an extra score gap here. Oklahoma looking to bring this one in. Bancho looking to bring it in too, actually.
Bancho looking not so good at the moment. having a spot of trouble there for Bancho, but we do get in eventually. This is a very different map from the last one as well. AR 10.3 right after the AR 8 hidden map. The only thing that's similar is the burst between these two maps. It was 256 on the last map, 288 on this one. A couple of breaks on some aim patterns for both Referee and Izumi. It's Zimby, S-Dot, Lights Out, Bazinga's Dead, all holding the FCs right now. Florida ahead by a smidge. Another break to come through for Referee to give a slight bit more score lead over to Florida, but nothing to write home about with matching combos on the FCs and only 100 combo advantage for Florida. Now, finally, a little bit of give from Oklahoma. Lights Out and Bazinga's Dead, both missing at the same time, exactly halfway through the map. S-Dot to trade with the slider break for Florida, but Zimby is still on the FC. Zimby and Izumi on this reverse choke with 99 AC are looking so good for Florida right now. 200k and climbing. Another break for Referee. S-Dot to trade it. Zimby also to find the slider break, but Izumi to hold. Traded with Bazinga's Dead now. Both of them going down, and it's Lights Out with the only combo in the lobby, but a 230,000 score lead for Florida, shrinking with Lights Out combo. Is there enough time for Oklahoma to bring this back, though? Not going to be enough as Lights Out finds the miss, and that's the win for Florida. Point on the board with a break point.
Zimby with the unbelievable consistency alongside the teammates. Izumi holding 99% accuracy for almost the entire pick until that burstier section at the break there. And that is a 400k victory for Florida on the back of Zimby and Izumi with a great tag team there. The third maybe a little bit uncertain for both of these teams. And it was Izumi to step up for Team Florida there. S-Dot not too bad themselves. 500k plus better than 2 of the 3 scores on Oklahoma. Lights Out coming up just short. Highest accuracy in the lobby off of low 100 count. 17 there. But the team not able to pull through for Oklahoma and Florida. They are down, but they are not out at the exact time that they needed to as well. A break point back to them. That is 1 down, 50% of the job through. They need to win their own pick to keep this train coming, but this could look to be quite close if Florida's going to have confidence on a 100% open DT pool.
Honestly, after how that went, I mean, that was a somewhat convincing win. It's the only point you have on the board if you are Florida right now. Pick some more speed, man. Pick
Get
something
in.
else that's mechanics focused. Pick some speed. Go for something, because the other picks that you have had clearly have not worked. So this is a blessing that you get this breakpoint, that you now have a skill set with basically everything open, right? And wow, okay. Or pick the Unforgiving, I guess.
Okay.
Sure. That's it's not speed, it's DT, but it's not speed. This is interesting.
Is this the consistency gambit? Maybe. This is the
Maybe it's 200 BPM aim, right? It's just old style consistency.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's playing onto Oklahoma, maybe getting a little ahead of themselves here, maybe finding a couple too many breaks on that, and Izumi and Zimby being like, oh yeah, we can double FC this. Maybe S-Dot's better on this too. Maybe it's just like, hey, we had a great duo for the last DT map. S-Dot came in pretty close, but maybe we want to give him something a little bit better. Let's pick the DT2. Let's get our third in here, because I'm imagining both of these teams are going to run with the same rosters they did for the previous map.
That's a great question, because the last map is pretty different from this map. They're both DT, but this one's pretty different, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of change out here. It does look like Florida's considering a swap to maybe Melon Berries, which I think does make sense with this being pretty much just all aim consistency. Zimby S-Dot staying in makes sense. Lights Out, Bazinga's Dead, Referee all staying in also does make some sense there for Oklahoma. As we get into the marathon length 5 minutes Nomad DT consistency pick in the Unforgiving.
Hey Dada, why didn't we pull the full version of Unforgiving?
I
Just
didn't need to answer that question.
Why didn't you pull the full version, Dada?
Oh my god, my side hurts. Oh, that was It could have been peak. This could have been peak. Can you imagine the freaking aneurysm that players would have had on map pool showcase day with full length Unforgiving, no cuts, no speed up, just straight through 50 however freaking many minutes that would have been. I would have honestly sat through the entire
50
thing.
minutes Nomad. It's 52 minutes and 58 seconds Nomad. So 53 minutes times 2/3 is like, what is that, 35-ish minutes or something like that? Yeah.
I would have sat through that. I would have been there for that. I'm all in.
Casual 35-minute DT2 pick.
We take those.
Okay, this is not going well for Florida, though. Early couple of breaks for Melon Berries and S-Dot. Referee is the only one to trade, and there was an earlier break for Melon Berries as well. Lights Out traded that one, but now it's just straight-up combo advantage for Lights Out over the double break there for Florida. Zimby matching Bazinga's Dead on the FCs. Referee to trade out a couple of more times, but it's still a 40k lead here for Oklahoma. And now, I mean, this is looking pretty good for Oklahoma at the moment, but it's not nearly over. There's still a third of the map left to go, but another double break. Oh god, triple break for Florida, and suddenly this is massive combo advantage for Oklahoma coming into the second half of the map.
I mean, that was a triple reset on top of every single player on Florida breaking on the slider ticks on some of these longer sliders. That cut pattern with the ult just claiming a few more lives. That 1/6 burst claiming everyone in the lobby, however.
Except
and the 165k and halfway through is not unbelievable for Florida to come back, although they do need to clean it up.
There's one saving grace, is that 1/6 didn't catch S-Dot. They have a combo advantage right now. It's not a big one, but they do have a combo advantage right now.
That's something.
So it takes fewer misses from Oklahoma for them to come back. I think it does still take misses from Oklahoma for Florida to come back in this, but fewer of them necessary, with S-Dot holding a slight combo lead here.
Any more of those big clinch patterns to take over for either of these teams could make the difference, but The time is going down, and Melonberry's once again getting caught off on some of those, really difficult switches between these triples, the doubles that are stacked over each other on these flow aim alt patterns. You have to be so cognizant of it, and these breaks favoring Florida off of that section there. That's a break on Melonberries and not traded out by Zimby for that second lowest combo. It is Zimby and Lights Out, but that favors Florida heavily as Estot, the player that maybe fell a little bit behind on the last map, will they be able to pull it through? The wide stream pattern in here, it's 50k. Dio, does it happen?
Come on, Florida, bring it home, man. There's just a little bit of map left. It's 30k. Hold strong to the end, please. There's a 10k left and just a sliver of song. There's enough patterns if they all hold, I think, before the end of the map. It's a spinner at the end. Is it enough? Is it 800 points? 800 points? Are you kidding me? Please tell me that's actually correct and I didn't just get baited by the client. Please tell me that's correct on the
MD. 222 in favor of Florida.
Oh my god, yes! Let's fucking go, Florida! Oh my god!
No way! It happens again! One more time! The 3-digit score gap comes in clutch! The spinners did make the difference! And Oklahoma so stun-locked that they insta-pick the remaining Hard Rock.
That was 222 points. Actually, 222 points for Florida is insane. Oh my god. All right. We go on. The Unforgiving delivers peak once again. I'd like to take this moment to thank the Unforgiving as we move into Pennsylvania by Culprit and Dictate. Scub Domino's Metro Diff on Hard Rock. This is a super well-known, really long, high-velocity slider following map, basically. It's a tech map. There's some other stuff that's going on, but for most players, the main point of difficulty in this map is slider following, and that's made much more difficult on Hard Rock. Lower circle size means your error window on slider following is much smaller.
Extremely such, and if anyone here knows the average Scub Domino map, they will know that this is going to be a battle for combo rather than who's going to come the closest to FCing. If we do see an FC on this map, within this match, after everything I've seen thus far, that would be peak. That would be insane. This map is extremely difficult all the way through. It requires the consistency. It requires that Hard Rock control. It gives you absolutely everything you're looking for. Again, in this Hard Rock pool, it's so Hard Rock player favored. And that is amazing for the teams that have that trio where maybe some teams are going to start to lose it on that third player. So as Oklahoma goes through this and Florida continues denying fate, as I literally just realized that the score difference was 222 and Florida is 22nd seed. That's freaking nuts. Oklahoma now looks to hopefully prevent Florida from bringing this match back to even on a skill set that they weren't entirely comfortable on before.
See how both these teams shake out on this map. Lights Out, Bazinga's Dead, Hijeo, all in for Oklahoma. Zimby, Izumi, and Estot in for Florida. A little bit of an act gap there on Zimby to start things off, but nothing to write home about right at the beginning of the map. Score lead is going to be a little bit large with that kind of an act gap, though, for this early on into the map. But really, the difficulty in this map is starting to rear its head. You see breaks for all three members of Florida. Only one member of Oklahoma breaking so far. Higeo finding the break there as Lights Out and Bazinga's Dead continue to FC. And yeah, Chillier, Hard Rock, Oklahoma.
Hard Rock.
Looking pretty good. The recovery combos are there for Florida, though, and Lights Out does find the miss. And there goes Bazinga's Dead also. And wait a second, suddenly it ain't looking so good for Oklahoma anymore. Estot does find the miss as well, trades out, and so now it's a lot of low accuracy, high combo plays for Florida, but the score lead is slowly coming back their way.
This is why I said this map is so Hard Rock player favored. Look at the accuracy difference between these two teams. If not for the higher accuracy on Oklahoma right now, they would be getting shredded on this, on the combo alone. But that 94% on Lights Out and Bazinga saving them 3% higher than the next closest player in the lobby as everyone navigates long sliders. Every single one of these long extended straight sliders has a slider tick. Combo with the buzz sliders in between each ensures that your accuracy will never raise as Izumi hits the slider stream, and that might be all the difference Florida needs there. That slider stream, one of the most chokeable points in this map consistently if you are not ready for it, and that is a 500 uncontested combo for Florida on a breakdown section. Now, final third of the map, 100k for Florida. Can they make this work? Can they take the second break point in a row, shut Oklahoma down when their heads were held high? Izumi, with only support from S-Dot right now, needs just a little bit more to keep Florida in the lead, and there goes Lights Out.
And Izumi is still holding, does finally find the slider break. Zimby to match the combo from either Bazinga's Dead or Hygeo. I guess at this point it's Bazinga's Dead, Hygeo finding the miss there. But it's 150,000 score lead for Florida. It's matching combos for Bazinga and Zimby. It's no big combo anywhere else in the lobby. The accuracy for Florida does mean the score is going slowly towards Oklahoma. But it's not going to matter. There's not enough time left. The combo gone now for Bazinga's Dead. Means Florida have secured another point, a third one in a row. The break point on the DT3 or DT4, the successful pick on the DT2, and now this second breakpoint in a row on the Hard Rock 2. Florida pulling out the sauce for this match and coming back from a 3-0 deficit early on.
This is some very impressive act from Bazinga's Dead there. 95.27%, a singular miss, and a lower 100 count by almost 20 over the next player in here. Bazinga's Dead very clearly comfortable. Unfortunately, Florida, better overall team score. Izumi and Zimby coming up huge with those double mid 400Ks. 0 misses for either of them. Only slider breaks through. And Florida makes this look possible. 3 in a row into 3 in a row as we now enter our final 2 picks for both teams, where even and Florida, for the first time this match, actually has the opportunity to be in the lead, given the fact that they have first pick, which also means if things continue on their current track record, Dio, that means that Florida will get the opportunity to reach match point first as well, which is a crushing blow to Oklahoma, given their 3-0 lead at the start of this match. They look so confident, so calm, cool, and collected. Hard Rock pool gone. Hidden pool gone. 2 double times left where Florida looked fairly strong. DT2 a little bit shaky, but it did come through. Maybe that Fremont 3 might be a better avenue to look for them later on.
Yeah, I don't know. I maybe like the Fremont 3 a little bit more than the rest of the DT pool with how the DT4 looked in particular, but not going to be any of those. It's going to be the Nomad 5 instead. Some classic Satin Yosei Teikoku. This is some 320 BPM alt mapping from Satin. This is one that I'm not super familiar with, though. This looks like a okay, 2012 loved map. This is not one that I am familiar
now?
with.
Is this 2012 now? No
yeah,
way.
submitted 2012, loved 2017.
Oh my gosh, I did not know this map was that old.
Oh, it's old.
Oh boy. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I could have pulled 2 and 2 together through the mapper Satin and everything else that this has brought over the years in tournaments. This is just classic flow aim.
The real test is if it's mapped by Satin or Satin-san.
Yeah, exactly. Is it mapped by Doomsday or Satin? Which one?
Yeah.
Which one is? Oh my goodness, what a classic. I'm so excited to see this back in a tournament. It's a great mix between alt that you look for in like a nomad pool, but also throws in that flow aim. It's very high intensity given that BPM. It's very continuous. There's a lot of difficult patterns that almost become streams with how linear they are and how flow aim oriented this map is in between some of the snappier patterns. I do believe there's a couple of 1/6 bursts in this map as well, sort of snuck around different places, so maybe a couple of choke points. We shall see
if those. Let's see if those choke points end up funneling some score to one side or the other. A couple of early misses coming through for Lights Out and Bazinga's dead. Hygeo still on the FC for Oklahoma. Three-way still intact for Florida. And this is the first pick of Florida's where they have looked really good right out the gate. A lot of other picks. Their one successful pick so far was a comeback by a hair's width on the double time 2. So for them to look good out of the gate is really, really solid for this Florida team. Just those early misses, though, for Lights Out and Bazinga's dead. Everyone on Oklahoma now comboing just fine, and the score lead going up very, very slowly for Florida. Only 30k right now.
This is not convincing for either team right now, but we are just getting into that first key eye. This is where it's going to start to matter on these wide angle patterns, and that's one of those 1/6 that I mentioned that can catch people off guard. Izumi did end up under-aiming one of the jumps afterwards, and there goes Hygeo as well, leaving just Lights Out to stand alone against S-Dot and Zimby, who are looking pretty consistent, and, well, this is sort of the track record that you maybe sometimes see with DT players being really good at ult, let alone the flow aim aspect of things, and this map brings all of that through as Florida takes one of the most convincing early leads of 85k we've seen. Usually it's pretty close at the start, and then one of the teams starts to pull away at the ending. That's double 700 combo to no FCs on Oklahoma. Lights Out pretty close behind, but with Hygeo finding another break, that leaves Bazinga is dead to try and match Izumi right now, which leaves an unchecked 800 combo.
Yeah, and this is... I mean, it's an unchecked, more like 1,000 combo, really. You have a 100 combo gap between Izumi and Bazinga's dead. You have a 100 combo gap between Zimby and Lights Out, and then you have, 750 between S-Dot and Hygeo, so yeah, close to 1k. Now make that barely anything as Zimby finds the break, and all that extra combo for Florida instantly disappears. Izumi also finding the drop. It's Hygeo and Bazinga's dead, though, to match, and now it's S-Dot versus Lights Out. FC versus reverse choke, but 200,000 points the score lead for Florida, 2/3 of the way in, and Lights Out would have to FC the rest of the map. S-Dot would need to miss for Oklahoma to win this pick, unless we see major collapse from the other two players on Florida. But Chillier, they look pretty comfortable. 99 act for Izumi, 98.4 for Zimby. Pretty consistently high combo throughout the rest of the map for those two. There, though, is the slider break for S-Dot. I just don't know if there's going to be enough time for Lights Out to bring this back. There's maybe some sauce here for Oklahoma if Florida fumble the bag.
Oh my god, Lights Out hit it. Oh no. Oh no, Florida. Lights Out?
It's Zimby. Zimby has some combo to mitigate.
Zimby is the only thing standing between Florida and an instantaneous loss right now, and it's putting in hell of work, to be honest. The fact that Hygeo and Bazinga's dead are also not able to find any semblance of combo is making a world of difference. I mean, Lights Out is bringing back maybe, 1k score every second through the map right now, and it's on the back of both of his teammates, and there he goes alongside Zimby, and S-Dot held on for just long enough, it looks like.
Florida ahead for the first time this match, up 4-3. It's not a true lead. They have not consolidated a non-tiebreaker lead in this match. But I mean, if you started off down 0-3, you take going up to 4-3 any day. Florida start off with 3 losses in a row, and since then, not a single loss. 4 wins in a row for Florida to claw this back to an even game state and put themselves ahead, give themselves momentum, and put the pressure on Oklahoma to say, if you don't pick correctly on your next pick, we get match point and we win.
This is dangerous. This is huge for Team Florida, too. A team that was down on all counts, their performance, their team reset, the map pool and the bans and picks going through at the start of the match. They were down 0-3. Everything was working against Florida, but they are kicking into gear when it matters most. Their legacy will not go down without the fight of a lifetime, and at 4-0 for recent track record of picks right now, leaves Florida with Oklahoma dejected, down one map and forced to win their own pick to stave off match point now. What do you do if you're Oklahoma? How do you maintain your composure in this scenario?
I think you go back, or at least try to go back, to what worked at the start of the match for you, or you throw in the AR5 4-star.
Let's go.
Apparently. You throw in the AR5 4-star. That's what you do, I guess. Silver Temple by Eguchi Takahiro. This was originally, I think the top diff was a custom for COE tournament in 2022.
Yes, it was.
By Devious Panda. And now we get the Oaks Pie Insane diff here.
I have special attachment to this map because I was hosting the year that was a custom, and I picked this song with Panda because we both thought it was awesome. And it continues to be awesome. And Yolkspie continued to make an even more difficult diff somehow than the top diff of this map, which is quite impressive. Now, I do have to say, this is practicable. This is very practicable. Okay. So, of the grand scheme of AR5 maps, I would say this is on the very accessible end for people who don't normally play reading maps. Because if you put in, 10, 15 plays on this map, which over the course of a week might seem like a lot, but realistically, it's not too bad. I think most people could learn this map to the point of being able to play it competently. It's overlappy sliders, but the rhythms are simple. They make sense. There's nothing crazy that happens in the song. I think there is a world where if Florida practiced this, they do have a chance to take it. Does the world exist where Florida practiced this? Probably freaking not. So, let's hope that they still have something to give us on this map. If Oklahoma's picking it, I am going to say that they have somebody who is likely able to come close to full comboing it.
I have to agree. I too have special attachment to this map, Chillier, for a very different reason. You were hosting, I was casting, and I got to cast Badu versus Malteser.
Oh, yeah. Is this that one? This was that one.
This is that one. Yeah. This is that one where I was casting with blue, and Malteser just stops playing, gets up, grabs Blue's beer, and just chugs it. Sits on the couch with us and chugs it mid-map because there's just no shot he's winning the map against Badu, and he knows it.
I think Badu FC too.
He had like 900k or something. Yeah. I don't remember. It was some stupid, ridiculous score because of course
stage,
it was
on old laser.
Anyway,
too.
Florida's getting their ass kicked. Sorry to Florida. There's good combo for Zimby. Unfortunately, Uranium is just completely third playered, and Oklahoma has 3 players who have practiced the map.
Yep, MC Conqueror is getting jump scared by literally every back and forth slider on that last pattern I just saw. Does finally lock in for some double-digit combo here as referee finds the first notable break for Oklahoma, and Bazinga's Dead also falls down to hell as 300k appears for Oklahoma, cresting the peak of the mountain once again as Hygeo now starts to bring this one in solo, with every player on Florida having now found their 15th set of breaks. 300k, the highest score on the side of Florida. 300k, the lowest score on the side of Oklahoma, as we continue pushing in their favor as the final reading map of the pool goes bye-bye very quickly, with Hygeo bringing them in.
I mean, Zimby was full comboing until that last break, but unfortunately with Hygeo still FCing for Oklahoma, even if the FC was held for Zimby, it just wouldn't really matter here. The score lead is 500k and climbing. There's finally the miss for Hygeo, and yeah, I think this score lead is big enough that even if Zimby FC'd, it would not have mattered. So GG go next for Florida on this map. Awesome pick for Oklahoma. Just an absolute momentum stopper on the No Mod 3 pick here.
This is exactly, I think, how we expected this map to go. If you pick the AR5 reading map, you are probably going to win it. And Oklahoma giving us quite the performance there. That's almost a triple 600K from them to put up the 1.8 million. Again, coming just shy of that 2 million. I'm very excited for some of the winners bracket matches we have this weekend and how they perform on some of these more technically difficult maps, because I want to see the double FCs come out from the crazy reading players that we have. And even some of the losers bracket teams actually that do have some very nice reading players, as Florida now gets their final pick, their final stand. The 5-4 opportunity. After all of this work in this match to get up to 4-4 and bring this match even, does Florida carry it through? Do they force the tiebreaker or even perhaps the win against Oklahoma? With reading gone, with Hard Rock gone, this is quite the opportunity for them to force Oklahoma into a position that they might not necessarily be very comfortable in picking into for these last two maps.
Yeah, it's kind of tough for both of these teams, honestly. I don't really know where you want to go if you're Florida. Do you go back into more speed with something like the Fremod 3? Do you go into or the DT3? Do you go, if there's any other low BPM flow aim? That seems like a really solid answer for Florida here as well. And then for Oklahoma, I mean, you stop momentum with this reading pick, but then you have to go back to something else a little different in order to win after this. So gonna be interesting, and it is going to be the Nomad 4 220 BPM 7-star. What is this? I think stream pick, if I'm correct.
This is a wild pick for Florida. Yeah, I'd say this is like the burstier streamy pick, I'd say. Maybe more focus on the burst mechanical consistency, I would say, potentially, of like what's gonna happen here between these two teams. I could literally not tell you. I think Florida looked a lot better on some of the like flow aimy mechanical skill sets, but maybe got a little bit outclassed on some of the aim style mechanics. So I guess we're really just looking for, yeah, I guess Dada sort of said it as best as you possibly can. It's general mechanics. Like, this is just a bursty, streamy mechanics map in Nomad, which means that effectively it does become consistency in some aspects, given the trend of most of this community towards the mechanical side, and as we look at the players in this lobby, mechanically oriented rosters too.
It's ye old tiebreaker skill set.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
Like 2017. It's 220 BPM mixed mechanics map.
This is
this
Painkiller.
could have been this could be tiebreaker.
This is Painkiller in Nomad regular pool, except with less 1/3. There's a few though. There's a couple. And those are always the parts that I feel like can maybe catch you off guard if you are like, if you're really on edge and you're nervous about winning a map and you're like, wow, we're gonna get to match point on this and we're playing really well, and like a 1/3 in a 220 burst mechanics map jump scares you. Those do tend to sort of screw people a lot of times. So I am wondering if on some of the breakdown sections with the solos, we do see a couple of flops here and there, but I've liked Florida's consistency in the later half of this match. What I do worry about, and always, is do Bazinga's Dead and Lights Out lock in on a mechanics map, because that's sort of their thing. But Florida has Zimby and S-Dot, who have proven to be a formidable duo, along with Izumi, who's actually turned quite a few heads with their performances on previous maps, at least with respect to everything before that last reading map. Well, they do from the first miss, though.
Yeah, very early miss, though. Only about 100 combo in there for Izumi, so not going to affect too much, but it is combo lead for Oklahoma to start things off. Accuracy pretty even between the two teams when you consider the high act for referee, the lower act for Bazinga's Dead. But now that high act play is no longer on an FC for Oklahoma. 2 FCs to 2. Bazinga's Dead and Lights Out versus Zimby and S-Dot. The players kind of expect before the map starts to hold those FCs for each of these teams. Accuracy pretty even between those 4 players, a little bit favored to Florida on the high combo players, but the support pretty much the same for both of them as well. Better combo for Izumi, starting to pull the score lead back the way of Florida now as the supporting combo starts to take hold. But I mean, it's only 150 combo lead, Chillier, and there goes Izumi, and there goes the score lead back the way of Oklahoma. Another couple of misses to come through, but it's still going to stay close so long as all 4 of these FCs are matching.
Point that I was worried about is this aimier style of these general mechanics maps do tend to catch players off guard. And with Florida maybe not being the better aim team in this match today does put them at a bit of a disadvantage, as the accuracy on S-Dot and Zimby struggles a little bit in comparison to the overall Oklahoma roster here, and referee sitting at 99.5% accuracy does not give me hope that the player that found the initial break on Oklahoma is likely to find another one anytime soon, maybe barring a miss from one of their teammates. But this is looking quite nice for Team Oklahoma here to potentially have the opportunity to make it through. The 1/3 section does catch out F-Dot, and that cut stream there, I sort of mentioned those 1/3s can take hold of you if you're on edge with those nerves, and S-Dot over-tapping that cut section now gives Oklahoma their huge lead. Referee finds a break, but that's exactly who you want to see finding the miss if you're Oklahoma. The player who has missed once already, continuing to drop their combo, and with the higher accuracy, meaning they're going to retain more score. Lights Out almost double note locking on that pattern. Bazinga's dead, trades it with Izumi, and this suddenly just became a 1v1.
It's 1v1 between the FCs, Zimby and Lights Out. No combo basically anywhere else. S-Dot, held some there for just a second, but not nearly enough, and finds the miss anyway. It's all on Lights Out and Zimby. How long can Lights Out hold long enough to keep this on the side of Oklahoma in spite of the FC for Zimby? No longer the FC for Zimby, and Florida, it all falls apart now. 200 combo, the max on their team, and Lights Out still on the FC. 150,000 score lead imminent for Oklahoma. Does finally find the break, but there's just no combo on the side of Florida to take advantage. Bazinga's dead now, the highest combo in the lobby. More misses to come through for Izumi, and a quarter of the map left with a 150k score lead in Oklahoma's favor. It's not unwinnable for Florida here, but they have to lock in into the end of this map. A couple of misses from Lights Out, and referee will help the case as Zimby and S-Dot continue to build up a little bit of combo here, but Bazinga's dead. As long as this guy is holding, the chances for Florida to win this pick are slim, and there go Izumi and S-Dot, and now it's just a straight up combo lead for Oklahoma. It's the score lead up to 170k, and it's the break point for Oklahoma. It's 5-4 for Oklahoma, and now Shu on the other foot. Match point not for Florida, but Oklahoma with match point and last pick to top it off. The ability to close this match out cleanly, 6-4, and avoid tiebreaker, avoid disaster after being up 3-0 early on in the match. Avoiding loss here is massive for Oklahoma.
And the shaky middle section of the match leads to potentially a strong finish for Team Oklahoma here. And the situation that we said might all be possible was the outcome of this map. Zimby holding strong, S-Dot not too far behind, but that duo of Lights Out and Bazinga's dead just outscoring the comparable side from Team Florida. That duo so strong on these mechanics maps, in Florida, I think they did decently well for themselves to pick into a skill set like this. Again, I'm going to be questioning the rest of the evening. How would that free mod 3 have worked given Florida's ability to beat Oklahoma on speed? Maybe, again, a little bit too much aim in the free mod there for them. But now, if you're Team Oklahoma, where do you go? Maybe you just go down to that free mod 4. Maybe you go into that massive circle size, gimmicky, dense finger control map. Maybe you just go for something that would be super uncomfortable for Team Florida. Maybe you go into Chicken Funny. Maybe you chance it on the slider stream.
I was just gonna say, why not just pick Chicken Funny?
Why not Chicken Funny?
Do it for the vibes. Surely that will work out for you. No one has ever regretted picking for the vibes. Just
Never.
pick Chicken Funny.
Never. Everyone who picked Hontoni in Hippo Cup that year won the map. I'm just saying, the pick always prevails. I don't know, man. I just don't know. I don't think they go for Free Mod 3, and I don't think they go for a DT, which basically leaves No Mods 1, 2, and Free Mod 4 in my mind for them. Like, maybe they pick DT3 if they really want, like, awkward, but yeah, there it is. It's going to be the finger control density pick.
Yeah, I think that just makes sense because there's not, like you said, they're not picking the speed maps, right? So you're not picking DT1, 3, or Free Mod 3. No Mod 1 or 2 kind of make sense, and Free Mod 4 makes sense. So it's going to be one of those three. It's going to be avoiding the speed. And in this case, it's going to be the CS1 density gimmick pick. Some weirdo finger control. And, well, Oklahoma honestly has been pretty solid on gimmick stuff throughout this match. They won the stream map No by Flesh God Apocalypse. But after that, they won Uparts. They won Location. They then only really lost on Pennsylvania, I think, in terms of more gimmicky stuff. And after that, won on Silver Temple and have won on Gibura. Of course, that's just AIM, but a lot of the less conventional stuff in the pool so far has gone Oklahoma's way. So I do think this is a good pick for them.
This is exceptional. I think, like, I provided a couple of hypotheticals in that last section of, like, here's maybe where Oklahoma can go, but realistically, in the back of everyone's mind, I think this is what we were all sort of thinking of. Like, these gimmicky, force Florida away from mechanics as far as possible, and don't give them any opportunity to have, like, any hold on this map, because we've already seen in this match 3 times in a row that if you give Florida the opportunity to steal a map away, they will do it. And Oklahoma has avoided disaster once, and now they are going to try and stave it off for one final pick. Will we avoid tiebreaker after all of Florida's hard work, after the fighting that they have done? It all comes down to a skill set that they have, to be honest, not looked too hot on this evening. So we're going to have to see a pretty big 180 here from this trio of Zimby, Estot, and Izumi right now.
Let's see it, Florida. I don't want to be a biased caster, but I'm going to be biased here. Let's go, Florida. Take it home. Get us to tiebreaker.
I want to see TB, bro. I need Tree Frog right now. I
want to see a Florida win. I need Florida to lock in.
Would Florida not just win the Tree Frog TB map, right? Like, is that not just Florida? Like,
maybe it was Gecko instead of
Gecko,
Tree Frog. I found a lot of geckos and anoles, just like basic tiny lizards living in Florida.
Alligator
tree
bootleg?
frogs. Although there were frogs. There were plenty of frogs.
Alligator bootleg, perhaps. Who knows? Interesting early breaks, and Izumi over-tapping, actually, on a triple. Not inspiring a ton of confidence for Florida in the early onset of the map. Only 100 combo down for Estot right now. That Hard Rock player finding the break on Izumi is not where you expected that first miss to come from. I actually would have expected that hidden player to find the first break there, but that is a traded break from Bazinga's Dead, and one more miss from Oklahoma does give this lead to Florida quite rapidly. The question is, does Florida hold their combos until that point happens on the wiggle as High Geo drops pretty big, and that now leaves Aizen at 94% accuracy versus a double 97 high combo from Florida with Izumi supporting combo. And Dio, have the tables turned? Have the skill sets flipped? Am I in a different universe right now? Is Florida suddenly the gimmick team of this map? Bazinga's Dead has missed. Oklahoma, what are you doing? Tree Frog incoming!
Oh my god! That giant wiggle stream is Florida's boon as everyone continues to hit basically everything. Izumi finally finds the drop on the Hard Rock again, but it just doesn't matter. Zimby still holding the hidden FC, Estot on the reverse choke, and Florida take us to tiebreaker. Seed 22. Florida's lowest seeding ever in USC. and they still manage to get to tiebreaker here versus Oklahoma, who is trying so hard to shake off the top 24 shackles they have on them and make it into top 16. Both of these teams with something on the line. Florida going into this tiebreaker. This is, if Florida lose this, this is the lowest placement that Florida will have ever had. Oklahoma, they are looking to match their placement from last year and continue getting at least in the top 16 rather than being eliminated here in the top 24 as we get into Tree Frog, the tiebreaker between these two teams.
What an outcome. What an unbelievable switch up. Florida, they baited us. They made us think that they couldn't do the gimmick. They made us think the density was bad for them. Zimby and S-Dot rocking it through into the ending. Izumi not too far behind on the hard rock as well. 450k, quite respectable for the mod combo on the board there. And that was a convincing victory too at that. That was a 740k for Florida. There was no chance for Oklahoma to win that map in there. And they picked into the best thing that they saw, and Florida ended up going through. But now the question is, does Oklahoma make the turnaround? We've seen a lot of alt-style maps picked in this pool so far, Dio, and with this map sort of falling into that trend, albeit not full flow aim alt, snappier, maybe a little bit more linear oriented, some awkward patterning in here. I do want to say that Florida might have a pretty good foothold on this tiebreaker compared to some alternatives. Now, Oklahoma probably pretty glad that we're not seeing a mechanics tiebreaker. Likewise with Florida, those teams have been duking it out there today. So we're really going into sort of uncharted territory for these two teams and to who's going to be able to pull ahead on this one. Florida going to be running MC Conqueror for the second time this match, I believe. Have we seen MC more than on Silver Temple? We bringing it back home twice. Yes,
tell you right now. Hold on.
Location and they played the first two maps. Okay, so I've just like recency bias. MC Conqueror has played 3 maps, but they just played 2 of their three is the first 2 maps in here. Okay, they're back. They're ready. I was worried about putting in a player who like hadn't played in an hour in for tiebreaker, but I believe in Florida. I also believe in Oklahoma, and the Tree Frog will decide who stands on top. Bazinga's Dead Lights Out High Geo versus Zimby S-Dot and MC Conqueror. The Tree Frog looms overhead. It's getting closer as we approach the winner of this match. 1 map to go. 6 minutes, 27 seconds. Map begins sometime today as we get a double fast slider break on Florida.
The map begins whenever the first breaks come through, Chillier. So the map has started up here. Zimby and S-Dot saying it's time to start. A little bit of apraxia methoding going on, maybe. Hageo and Bazinga's Dead also finding some early breaks now for Oklahoma. 1-1 on the full combos. Lights Out and MC Conqueror still holding both of those. And the score lead, it's getting closer to Florida's side as we continue to see slight combo lead for Florida. No further breaks. MC Conqueror, though, does drop the FC, and now it's Lights Out uncontested. Better recoveries for Florida, better overall combo with the SS still intact for Lights Out coming into the 1/8 bursts in this map. Those are 254 BPM bursts in this song, just kind of out of nowhere during this section. Luckily, nobody getting caught off by the burst, just some aim control beforehand, getting the break for MC Conqueror. And only a 30k score lead for Oklahoma, but now another double break to come through for Florida. Again, the aim control for both MC Conqueror and S-Dot. It's just Zimby now left alone versus this full combo for Lights Out and double 500 combos for both Bazinga's Dead and High Geo. And Chillier, the score lead has already doubled to 60k, and it is climbing pretty rapidly for Oklahoma. And with Zimby missing, it is not getting closer for Florida.
Ooh, say your prayers now, Florida. Oklahoma only finding those 2 breaks on a buzz slider early on. Florida to mess up on the actual aim patterns in the map as we find the first refrain section in quite some time, and Oklahoma with all of the cards on their side. This was the easy section of the map, Dio. This was the introduction to Tree Frog. And now the real map starts. Now the complex sections start to go in, the overlaps, the stacked sliders, the doubles through. And this map is really going to start to get, I'd say, most difficult, maybe when we start to approach that 2K combo mark. So we've still got quite a ways to go before we get to the really difficult section, but these stacked patterns here, catching Hygio, Lights Out, and Zimby, that is going to favor Team Florida, but they have 200,000 score to make up, and MC Conqueror and S-Dot are basically only matching Bazinga's Dead right now. Accuracy not doing them any favors as well, both of them below that 97%, and with some uncertainty on both sides as we approach the halfway point of the map right now, Bazinga's Dead trying to hold Oklahoma's lead intact. Any amount of time here with Florida with this big combo lead could mean a huge difference, and Florida has the opportunity to close quite a bit of this right now.
It is once again getting closer, but there goes MC Conqueror. Now it's just S-Dot with big combo. Zimby does hold as well, so it's still about an 1,100 combo lead, now 1,200 or so for Florida. But this score lead, it's a solid score lead for Oklahoma. 150K on a tiebreaker is massive, but this is coming over pretty quickly. Another couple of breaks come through for MC Conqueror. Bazinga's Dead to match, but the only one on the side of Oklahoma matching any of these breaks is S-Dot and Zimby needing to hold during this very difficult section. And there goes S-Dot on some of the flow aim alt patterning. MC Conqueror also finding the drop, and it's just Zimby now. But the collective combo on all 3 members of Oklahoma, nobody missing during that section, and this 150K score lead has not budged. And now Zimby finding the break as well, and just as it builds up, it all falls down for Florida during this section. Oklahoma able to hold on. Bazinga and Lights Out Hygio also finding the miss, but it just doesn't matter. There's 0 combo on Florida and 170,000 score lead for Oklahoma with a quarter of the map to go.
Impossible. Insurmountable lead for Oklahoma taken in the early stages of the map. Florida finding the majority of their breaks in the easy section of the start of the map here. And that 175K wasn't a whole lot at the start given the length, but it is now a quarter of the way to go and still climbing in their favor. This would require a 3-way FC into the finish for Florida to even have a chance at bringing this one back, as Lights Out matches the only combo on S-Dot. Everyone continues to trade bakes back and forth, and there is just not going to be a single combo held at the ending of the map. It's another quad break from these 2 teams. Zimby trades, Hygio trades, and that is the full reset for both sides. It continues falling down further for Florida as the doomsday scenario plays out, and the lowest finish we have ever seen from Florida looks to be the outcome final section of the map. 200K lead for Oklahoma as they do make it through to the finish.
Oklahoma, they played very well. They started off with a 3-0 lead. They fumbled the lead in the middle of the match, but they clawed it back. They forced the tiebreaker, and they combo the beginning of the tiebreaker to come out to an early 200,000 score lead and maintain that 200K lead through the rest of the tiebreaker. And on top of this win, they match their previous best finish from last year in at least top 16, with the opportunity to, for the first time in their history, advance into top 12 if they can win their next match. Outperforming their seeding by at least 1 placement once again for Oklahoma. For Florida, it's their expected placement, and with it being their lowest seeding ever, it is also their lowest placement ever. But it's not necessarily a bad year for Florida. It's a rebuilding year, and it's a bunch of new players for this team who have not had this USC experience before. Florida hopefully can take this year as a learning experience and bounce back next year. But for now, this is the earliest that USA States Cup has ever seen Florida exit the tournament.
very early. They've done well for themselves, and despite being dropped out of the tournament, they did place at where their seed has predicted, even a little bit higher, considering they dragged a 17th seed to tiebreaker in this matchup. But they've done well for themselves in Florida, and now Oklahoma with either Nevada or Michigan at their doorstep, awaiting that second match. That will take place tomorrow, a little bit later on, but we've got a couple more matches coming up this evening immediately following this one, which I believe is just getting into the first pick very similarly, is going to be New Jersey versus Georgia. So I'm going to stay on. I believe Dio will be departing and will be rejoined by the lovely Dada this evening for this next match.
Hey, I was here the whole time.
He was. And I am heading on out. So thanks for having me, and enjoy the next two matches. I believe New Jersey versus Georgia is on this stream, and Tennessee versus Washington is on the B stream if you're interested in checking that out. So
Big ups.
good luck, y'all, and good luck to the teams. See you later.
Thank you, Dio.